Hello, everybody. Welcome to our monthly webinar from Elevate Wealth Advisory. Today, we have with us Clarke Holt, who is a wealth advisor at Elevate. If you're new to us, we are a wealth advising firm based in Athens, Georgia. We were founded in 1982 by Chuck Vickery with the goal of helping people make smart decisions with their money. We now have grown to a team of 11 people, and we're led by Deanne Rosso, our president and CEO. We do these webinars every month, and this month is focused on Social Security. The official name is what baby boomers need to know about their retirement income, but really what you're going to learn today will apply to people of all ages. I'm very excited to introduce you to Clarke Holt. I met Clarke when I first moved to Athens in 1999, and he helped me set up some Coverdell accounts for my kids' college education, which they have been using a lot of lately. So I'm very excited to have Clarke with us today. He's been with us for 21 years, and prior to that, he was with Morgan Stanley in Atlanta for 4 years. He is a wealth of knowledge, and I know you're going to love hearing from him today. Hi, Clarke.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So, Clarke, what do you like most about being a wealth advisor?
I would say it's just helping people make smart choices, helping people solve problems and plan so that they can reach their goals, help them create wealth so they can have retirement income. So there's a lot that goes into all that, but I think it's just really having relationships, close relationships with people and helping them.
I love that. I love that. Well, while you're getting your presentation started, I will go over some housekeeping items with everybody. At the end of the webinar today, we'll take some questions and answers, and you can put those either in the chat box, which you'll see at the bottom of your screen. If you hover over it, you can put a question in the chat box, or there's also a Q&A box, or you can just raise your hand in the little box with the hand. You can hit that, and we'll go ahead and answer any questions at the end. If something comes up later and you you can think of a question, but you think of something later, you can email me at marketing@elevate-wealth.com, and we'll be sure to get your question over to Clarke. And we're always here for you. Clarke has actually been featured in our YouTube channel talking about Social Security all month long. So you can go to youtube.com and you can search Elevate Wealth Advisory in Athens, Georgia, and you can see a lot of the typical questions that people are asking about Social Security that Clarke has answered this month. It's been really interesting. All right, Clarke, you ready to go?
Ready?
Okay, I don't see your shared screen just yet.
Okay.
There we go. Excellent. You are ready to go. I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Betsy. I appreciate it. So, we just want to welcome everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your day. If you have to break away, we are recording this so you can watch it later on our YouTube channel. And today's webinar, this month's webinar, is about what people, we say the title is baby boomers, but what people need to know about their retirement income and how that's centered around Social Security and doing that proper planning. And you think about like when your parents retired, they probably didn't think much about that benefit. They just went down to their local office as soon as they turned 65 or maybe 62 if they retired early, and they applied for benefits. And they, oftentimes people take that benefit for granted and didn't ask a lot of questions, didn't do a lot of planning. And so the way baby boomers approach retirement income and Social Security is very different today, we think. So a lot of people, this is very common, tend to minimize the value of what this benefit can bring. And I think if you can understand that you're going to get something back from a system that you put all this money into, and not sure, and oftentimes you think, well, is it going to be enough? And it's not really that much, but it's far more valuable than I think people give it credit for and that people realize. So what this benefit does is it gives you income that you cannot outlive. There aren't many sources of income that are offered today that can give you lifetime income. And if you're worried about running out of personal assets and as you get older, the the longer you live, obviously, the more you're going to need to live on as far as your retirement income goes. So you've got to have something sustainable. So, for example, if your benefit starts out at $2,000 per month and you live 10 more years, you'll get around $300,000 in lifetime benefits. If you live 20 more years, you'll receive nearly $300,000 in lifetime benefits, and then 30 more years, you'll get almost $1 million over your lifetime. And this is also assuming that you get an annual cost of living adjustment of 2%. So the second thing that Social Security offers is annual inflation adjustments. So if your benefit starts at 2,000 and your annual cost of living is 2%, in 10 years you're receiving 2,438 per month. And you can see in 20 years you're almost 3,000, in 30 years around a little over 3,600. And there's no way to really know exactly what the cost of living adjustments will be going forward, but it's averaging or seems to be around 2%, and we would consider that to be a reasonable estimate. Some people might not think that's enough. I might agree, but that's about what it's running when we're doing estimates for if you're looking back long term. So when your benefit is calculated, it'll be based on how much you earned over your working career, and then the age at which you apply for those benefits. And the formula for this is pretty complex. And so you can follow along with this. Some people find this formula interesting. And the purpose of this really is looking at how Social Security looks at your annual earnings over your lifetime and then indexes them for inflation. And what happens is they're picking the 35 highest years earnings to include in this formula. The indexed earnings are totaled and then divided by 35 to come up with an average. And if you don't have 35 years of earnings, the missing years actually get filled in with zeros, which can hurt. So then next, the formula is applied to your average indexed monthly earnings to determine your primary insurance amount, or PIA. And this is actually the amount you'll receive at full retirement age. And then each year, the cost of living adjustments are applied to your benefit to help you keep up with cost of living adjustments. So here's an example of that benefit formula I just walked through. So if you got a baby boomer who was born in 1962 and earned the Social Security maximum every year since the age of 22, the average index monthly earnings would work out to be about $13,100. So in calculating the PIA amount, the first $1,174 would be multiplied by 90%. And then the amount between that first amount and 7,078 or 5,904 will be multiplied by 32%. And the amount over 7,078 would be multiplied by 15%. These amounts get totaled up to come up with the PIA amount, in this example, of $3,849.10. So I told you this was complicated. Fortunately, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. So full retirement age is the age at which you can claim full unreduced benefits. It used to be 65 for everybody, but now we're seeing higher full retirement age being phased in as a result of some amendments that were done in 1983. So for everyone born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age is 66. For everyone born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. And then for those born 55 through 59, it's 66 plus some number of months. So What if you apply for benefits early? Remember, I said the PIA amount is the benefit you'll receive at full retirement age. So if you apply before full retirement age, your benefit is reduced. And you'll receive a percentage of your PIA depending on when you apply. So if your full retirement age is 66 and you apply at age 62, you will receive 75% of your PIA, primary insurance amount. At 63, 80%, and so on. If your full retirement age is 67 and you apply at 62, you get 70% of your PIA. And these amounts are actually prorated monthly, so you can apply anytime after the age of 62, and your benefit will be reduced by the appropriate amount. What if you were to apply after full retirement age? So if you apply for Social Security after full retirement age, you'll earn delayed credits of 8% for each year you delay. So your full retirement age is 66 and you apply at 67, your benefit will be 108% of your PIA. At 68, it's 116%, and so on. After age 70, you can't earn more delayed credits, so it really doesn't pay to wait until after age 70 to apply for your benefit. Now, there are several tools and places, websites you can visit so you can get estimates on your benefits. I'm guessing you're probably not interested in calculating those by hand. And so you can refer to, obviously, your Social Security statement. We always encourage people, if you haven't, most of you have already, but if you've never set up your account, do so at ssa.gov. You'll need to set up an account. And you can use the retirement estimator. There's some great tools out there. And then please note, on the annual statement and the retirement estimator, they do not factor in cost of living adjustments into your age 70 benefit. So this means your actual benefit might be higher than they're indicating. And we can certainly help people with this tool and do projections and estimates and things like that. So check out these calculators and visit this website. Again, register, set up your account if you haven't already. There's some great tools and resources there. So the things you want to think about or consider when you decide to apply. That's one of the most important, complicated questions. And it can make all the difference, really, in thousands of dollars over your lifetime. So before we get into any kind of number crunching, you got to look at, okay, what decisions do I want to consider before I apply? And what factors are important to me? And this looks at things like your health status, your life expectancy, what is your need for income in retirement? Whether or not you're working or planning to work, if you're a surviving spouse, what their needs are. So lots of different things to consider when deciding when to apply, and they really matter. The when to apply question is complex, and it does require some customized analysis, I think. So, but here's some things I want to just remind you of, and for things that you need to remember. If you apply early, your benefit starts out at a fraction or some fraction of your PIA, like 75% or 80%. And it remains at that percentage for the rest of your life. It does not go up to 100%, even when you reach full retirement age. Cost of living adjustments magnify the impact of early or delayed retirement because the annual cost of living adjustment is applied to either the lower or the higher amount. So this can give us a disparity, and this causes really the disparity to increase with each passing year. So the when to apply question impacts survivor benefits as well. So higher earning spouses are really encouraged to delay the benefit to age 70 because that's going to give their surviving spouse the highest benefit after they die. So some strategies for maximizing benefits. The first thing you can do while you still have time is try to improve your earnings record. Check your annual statement, make sure your earnings record's accurate. They don't, mistakes can be rare, but the earnings are kept on file and it's reported by employers. And so there can be mistakes that can happen, especially if you're self-employed. And those earnings records are being taken from the tax returns. So that's important. The next thing is to consider another thing to consider, how you might be able to improve your earnings record. If you don't have 35 years of earnings, you can work a few more years so they will not be filled in with those zeros we talked about earlier. And if you've had several years of high earnings earlier in your career, you can work a few more years now while you're in your peak earning years. So those low earning years actually get replaced with these higher earning years. And even if you start receiving your benefit and you continue working, your earnings record does get updated. So it will be updated along the way. However, it's important to know that that if you start receiving your benefit before full retirement age, and if you earn over $21,240 a year, $1 in benefits will be withheld for every $2 you earn over that amount. A second strategy for maximizing benefits is to apply for benefits at the right time. So we've been making the case, really, not just today, but when we meet with clients or talk to people about delaying benefits, because this gives you that higher lifetime benefit for you and your spouse, your surviving spouse. But there's no one size fits all here. Everybody's situation is different. And it just takes a lot of planning and thought. And again, this is something that we help clients do a lot. And it's important to apply at the time that's optimal for you. And everybody's case can be different. So one thing that's important to consider when you're talking about when to apply is whether or not you're going to be working or plan to work. So if you apply before you turn full retirement age and you earn more than $22,320 in 2024, the $1 in benefits will be withheld for every $2 you earn over $22,320. So it's important to know this money isn't truly taken away. Rather, it's your benefit will be adjusted upward when you turn full retirement age to make it as if you had applied later. This means that if some of your benefits are withheld due to an earnings test, your new benefit will be higher as if you had started at 63 or 64 or 65 instead of 62. But don't let the annual earnings test discourage you from working. The more money you earn, the more money you will have, and you can save and invest and grow. And Social Security does not penalize you for working. And once that adjustment's made, you'll end up with that higher benefit for the rest of your life. And the earnings themselves will contribute and add to your financial well-being without question. To avoid the earnings test entirely, just wait until your full retirement age or later to apply for benefits. That's an easy thing if you just want to avoid the earnings test altogether. Another strategy for maximizing benefits is coordinating spousal benefits. And here we're trying to maximize income for both you while you're alive and maximize income for your survivor after one of you dies. It can be complicated and take a lot of work to decide on how to do this and how to come up with the right strategy. But if you look at all the considerations and do the calculations, it's very possible for a married couple to come up with the right solution that gives you the highest income for you and for your surviving spouse. Minimize taxation of benefits. Another strategy for maximizing your benefits. So many of you know this, but part of your Social Security benefit may be taxable. So this strategy is really just looking at maximizing your benefits to minimize this tax. And how do we do that? Ways to minimize taxes on your benefits. So we can minimize the tax that we pay on our benefit by lowering our income, especially investment income. Some things to be aware of, municipal bond interest, which is usually tax-free, counts as income for the purpose of calculating the tax on Social Security. Another thing to consider, and anticipate that required minimum distributions from your IRA, which may cause you to be in a higher tax bracket, may cause some of your benefits to be taxable. So you want to maybe consider drawing down IRAs early. Consider converting traditional IRA assets to a Roth IRA, which generates tax-free income. Delay your benefit in order to reduce the number of years benefits are subject to tax. And then obviously things like reduce your expenses, pay down debt, simplify your lifestyle, and then just continue to manage your taxes all the way through retirement, not just for the first few years, and work with your tax advisor, your financial advisor along the way about your specific situation and how it pertains to you individually or you and your spouse. Coordinating your benefit with your overall retirement income plan. And so we want to look at things like when we're planning for Social Security in lifetime income, we're looking at our pensions. We're looking at, again, these are all other sources of income, pensions, IRAs, 401ks, required minimum distributions, your overall investment portfolio, and then your plans for work, or if you're working in retirement. All these things need to be coordinated and taken into consideration to give you the income that you need for the rest of your life. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to ask for help. Retirement planning is easy when it's a matter of stashing part of your salary into a 401k. But when the time comes for you to start converting your nest egg into an income stream that's sustainable and rising for decade after decade, you want to make sure that money doesn't run out. And Social Security may be the bedrock of your retirement income plan. Oftentimes it's not obviously enough to replace your income from some of those highest earning years, but it can be a very important contribution along with these other resources to give you stability, security, and peace of mind that you're not going to run out of money. So we've covered a lot. There's a lot more to this. I've condensed this presentation that would have been probably an hour down to maybe 20 minutes with what I felt like was most pertinent. And but we have covered a lot. You probably have a lot of questions like, when should I apply? About working, what if I've already applied, and just all the things we've talked about. And I always just say, if you want to have a conversation, you feel free to reach out to me. Either call me at the office or you can email me directly, and happy to talk with you through some of these things, either as you're planning this leading up to applying for benefits. But no, I appreciate the time and everybody taking time out of your day to listen to this. And I will turn it back over to Betsy, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you so much, Clarke. That was so great. If you want to stop sharing your screen, we can chat for a little bit here because we do have some questions. Now, you did go over the reasons why you should delay. And sometimes when I hear about this, it sounds like you're playing like something in Vegas, like blackjack. Like, should I hold? Should I hold? What should I do? So can you just go over that again, the delaying and what the benefits are with that 8%? Because I think that's some questions about that.
it's a big deal because, and I don't think people consider that can really add a lot to your income stream. And so, um, delaying, the benefit of this is that 8% increase is for every year you wait up until 70. And so that can really add up. And so you may have resources that allow you to wait or delay other income sources, investment portfolio, pension income, things like that. You might be working. So if your situation allows waiting and getting that 8% increase, because that's fixed for life, if you can lock those in, and it really adds up over time. So again, but it doesn't pay to wait past 70.
Okay. One question is if you do apply before your full retirement age and you're getting maybe 70% of what you would have gotten if you'd have waited, will that change or are you stuck at 70% for the rest of your lifetime?
If you take it early, that you are locked in at that reduced PIA amount. And so that's another thing to consider. It does not go up when you reach full retirement age. So that's why it does require a lot of consideration and planning and coordinating to see if that is what's necessary. A lot of there are often times people can't afford to wait, and they may need to take it early based on personal circumstances or their financial situations, things like that. But
Okay.
yes, if you do take it early, you are locked in at that amount.
Okay. So you might get it earlier, but then if you live to be 90, you're missing out on a lot of income that you could have had if you'd have just waited.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay. Let's see. We have some specific questions here. If I have employees that are looking to retire in the boy, I can't wait stage, but do I have the money? Who should they call to set things up?
Okay. Repeat. Okay. So,
If I have employees that are looking to retire,
okay.
like, boy, I can't wait, but they also are wondering, do I have the money? Who should they call to set things up?
So, okay, they can call me. Um, I think um, you would want to call your local office. And so, if I'm understanding that question correctly, um, and set up an appointment.
Okay, that sounds good. I think this is a small business owner, so
Yeah, yep. And that would be my advice is to set up an appointment and have a consultation
okay.
with the local office.
All right. And then this gentleman says, so it looks like his retirement age might be 66 and 4 months. So he said, if I'm employed after 66 and 4 months, should I take out money anyway? I am 68 currently.
Take out money.
Should I apply now, maybe?
Oh, if he's reached full retirement age,
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes back to what I just mentioned a second ago. That's one huge part is that he did not take it early. So he's reached full retirement age.
Mm-hmm.
If you can afford to continue to delay, I would delay. Ideally, delaying just gives you those 8% credits that you then lock in for the rest of your life. And so, but it really depends on your situation. So again, everybody's situation is different. I would have to know a lot of specifics, but
Okay. He says, tell him it's Chuck Day. Hey, Chuck.
I'll talk to him later.
Definitely, you guys could get on the phone. Let's see, we do have, another question here, and it is, what are some ways to potentially maximize your benefit? So you did go over some of these.
Yeah, I went over some of these, but I'll hit on a few of them again. Again, delay claiming your benefit past your full retirement age as long as possible, because you get that 8% increase every year for delaying, and then work at least 35 years. And because benefits are calculated, like we talked about earlier, looking at your highest 35 years of earnings. And if you work less than 35 years, that's going to bring some of those zeros into those columns. And so you do want to look at your statement, look at your historical earnings record, make sure there's no mistakes. If you see some zeros, double check that. And then consider your life expectancy. I would say if your family has a history of longevity and you can afford to do so, it makes sense to delay claiming to receive those higher amounts for a longer lifespan.
Okay, yeah, that's where I feel like it gets to be sort of like you just don't know. So one other question. So if it's at the end of like your working years and you're not working those last few years before you turn your full retirement age, are those zeros going to be considered as part of the 35 years?
So somebody did not work.
Yeah, so let's just say like your full retirement age is 67 and you stop working at 64. Are those, and you don't apply early, are those last 3 years going to be zeros?
The I would want to see their statement to double check that. I think I would want to just double check the answer to that question, but I would want to see their statement, and then probably know a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to get off, after this or outside the webinar to talk with somebody about that or talk to whoever that is.
Okay, sounds good. Then we did have a question. Do you have a separate webinar on the impact of earnings on Medicare premium? And yes, we have done a couple healthcare and retirement webinars that I can go ahead and if you go to our YouTube channel and you look under, we have different playlists. There's one that's on Medicare or managing healthcare. You can look at those and feel free to watch any of those. But then you can also just email me directly at marketing@elevate-wealth.com and I can send you direct links to some of those as well.
And we also, in August, Deanna and I did a YouTube series on like top 5 Social Security questions and answers. And so if somebody wants to go back and look at that, that's on our YouTube channel. So
yeah, we've got a lot of great info there as well. Well, I'm going to send a link to this recording later today. And so if you have some friends or family or a partner maybe that wanted to see this and couldn't make it, just feel free to share that link with them. And then again, if you have any questions for us at any time, just email marketing@elevate-wealth.com. I'll get your questions over to Clarke. And Clarke, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. You guys all have a great day and we'll see you next month. Bye.